Yo, what is going on YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today, we're going to be talking about you guys and just mistakes that you often make and how to avoid making them, and then how to kind of play to win and avoid those mistakes. We're going to be going through 8. It's like 7, 8. One is going to be like 2 together, but I want to talk about them separately. So it is 7, or it is 8, but 2 of them are kind of together. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. First off, never ever miss a wave. That is literally all the farm 4 out of 5 lanes will be getting. Sometimes you'll be able to split in the jungle, but if you're playing solo lane, don't miss a wave because of a bad back, or don't rotate and miss a wave and then nothing happens in that rotation and then you just get no farm anywhere. Get your wave and then rotate. If you're playing solo lane, clear your wave or proxy and then rotate if you want, and then you can TP back if need be, but do not miss waves. That's how you get all your gold, you get all your XP. It's how you level up. It's how you win the game at the early portion. With that, we'll start off with the one that's kind of combined. Before backing, make sure you push your wave. If you go to your blue buff or your purple buff and you clear that and then you reset, a lot of times wave is going to be crashing onto your tower and you might actually lose that. Instead, clear that purple, clear that blue, walk around, clear that next wave, and then back quick, and then walk out of base. You're less likely to miss anything, and you probably won't miss anything unless they're trying to speed the wave under tower with like a Emoji 3. But that is what you should be focusing on. You should be pushing waves and then recalling, or pushing waves and then rotating. That's how you want to kind of be playing. If a fight is lost, or if a fight is looking really bad as you are rotating, just stop your rotation and go back to farming. Even if it was a 3v3 that your allies lost, the junglers both ganked dual lane, your team gets 3 for 0'd and you're rotating to that fight, there's no reason for you to try to make a play there unless you are very, very confident that you can kill all 3 or kill at least 2 without dying. But there's just no reason for you to try to make a play at a place that is very unlikely for anything else to happen. If they're all 1 health and you're playing something that can kind of get around and kill all 3 of them very easily and it's not going to be close, go ahead, do it. But if you're rotating and they're all full health, they all still have ultimate abilities, they actually didn't use anything, they literally only autoed your allies down, no reason to try to make a play there. Just go back to where you're rotating from and continue farming. If you are pulling objectives, getting wards around those objectives has kind of been beaten into the ground. But a really big thing is getting sentries on that objective so that the enemies don't know how much health it actually has left, and they can't just walk up and steal it, or they can't, fight as it's getting low. And it makes it just a lot riskier. So if you're pulling Gold Furies and you're pulling Fire Giants, get sentries on them. Make sure the enemy has no idea what the health is unless somebody has to walk up and then relay that information. Next up, it's understand where your damage needs to be in a team fight. A lot of times, solo laners, their entire job is to just soak up damage, and supports, their job is to soak up damage. Don't be overcommitting to these supports and then have no abilities or no burst for the actual threats on the enemy team, the jungler, the mid, the ADC. If you're able to kill the solo or the support pretty easily, obviously put abilities into them, and it's something that you have to just play enough games to start understanding it. But if you cannot kill them and you're just putting a bunch of abilities, 9, 10 abilities into a fed solo laner, and then the jungler is just going to blink on you and one-shot you, that is bad. You want to be playing around the threats on the enemy team. If you cannot kill the support or you cannot kill the solo laner, that's just not somebody that's on your target list. You're just going to have to try to play the fights differently and look for somebody else, or kind of bait them far enough that they take so many autos. A hunter can consistently put damage into solo laners and supports, but don't, if the support's like running away into your side of the jungle, just trying to make you waste time chasing him instead of going to the rest of the fight, that is something where you should be thinking, okay, does this kill really mean anything, or should I go dive in the fight since there's no other frontliners and go help my team? Obviously, go help your team. Forget the solo laner, the support who's ever running away. Next up, position close to allies in team fights. And this goes for even before team fights. In laning phase, a lot of times, you want to be positioning with your teammates. At least one other person should kind of always be with you when you're making a play. Or where everybody else is on the enemy team and you can make that 1v1 play. But if you're making a play and you don't know where the entire enemy team is, have somebody with you. If you're looking to invade a purple buff and you don't know where everyone is, have your support with you or your jungler with you. In late game team fights, you 4 should be grouped. And I say 4 specifically, you 4 should be grouped on fire. And that's the solo, support, mid, and ADC. The jungler should not really be grouped. That's not really their job. Their job is a flanker most of the time. They flank in early game. They flank in late game. They're going to be flanking at all points. Unless they're playing some team fight-oriented god that wants to play to pick off a frontliner like Fenrir, Hoonbot, something like that. But a lot of the times, the jungler doesn't really matter. They can be off in La La Land. But you 4 should be grouped together. The mid and the ADC should almost always be side by side. Support should be somewhat close to them. And then the solo should be somewhat close to the support. And that's kind of how fights look a lot of the times. And that's really, really important. As the team fight develops, you want to kind of stay grouped. If your allies run in opposite directions, say your mid and your ADC kind of sprint away in opposite directions, and you're stuck there as a support trying to decide which one do you want to try to peel for, that is not a good feeling. That is one of the worst feelings as a support. So make sure you guys are staying grouped. This one is a very hard one to get used to, but it's very important. Make sure you are spamming the tab key, tab button, or whatever it is to pull up the scoreboard, spamming that and just keeping eyes on what the enemy's building and what your allies are building. This is relics, wards, actual items. Everything like that matters. If you see your ADC just walked out of base and he has no wards in hands, you know that ADC is either a free gank because he didn't have time to place wards beforehand, or you can even tower dive him because he has just no ability to know you're on the way because he didn't buy any wards. Also knowing when your spikes are strong, say you have devs and you have XE and ADC and the enemy just has devs and tier 2 XE. You are way, way stronger than him in a team fight and any 1v1, and that is something you should look to exploit. And on top of that, with that one, also, you should be always looking at the minimap like once every 3, 4, 5 seconds, something like that. If you're in an actual 1v1, it's hard to take a look at the map. But if you're just autoing minions, take a glance at the map. If you're walking back from base, take a glance at the map. Stuff like that will really, really help your IQ, and it'll really help you understand where the enemy is and what they're planning on doing. And then lastly, the entire point of Smite is to kill the enemy Titan. Kills matter late game, objectives matter late game, but what you want to be doing is killing the Titan. That means if you get a wipe on the enemies, you don't have to go do Fire Giant before ending the game. You can just go end the game. This also means you don't need to kill all 5 of the individuals to get a Fire Giant. You can kill 3 of them and then pull the Fire Giant and try to do Fire Giant. You don't have to chase out and kill everyone else. Getting 1 pick, getting 2 picks like that can usually just mean a free Fire Giant, and that's something you should look to exploit. Also, Phoenixes are something that if you can get a Phoenix down pre 30 minutes, that is worth more than just 1 Fire Giant because that breaks the base. Breaking the base is the most important thing. Giving you an opportunity to end the game if the game is won is the best thing in the world. It depends, I guess, a little bit sometimes where EFG spawning, getting a Phoenix at 29 minutes, and it's not even the good side Phoenix, it's solo side Phoenix, and this is just setting up for a Fire Giant fight, EFG, and it was a Phoenix down. Sometimes at that point, maybe it's worth to get that Fire Giant, even though it's not an EFG, it's just an FG over those Phoenixes, and then playing around sieging the Phoenixes after. But that's something where you kind of got to just play the game enough to understand, is it worth more here or is it worth more here? But yeah, but there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest today. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.